Good afternoon, everyone. At this time, I'm going to call the September 9th, 2025 council meeting to order, and I'll ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Ms. Shinholster,
Here.
Dr. Lee,
Here.
Mr. Reynolds,
Here.
Mr. Chambers,
Here.
Ms. Mapp.
Here. All right, we do have a quorum present, so if you will at this time, please stand with me for the prayer and the pledge. Eternal Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you that you've allowed us to get here safely. I ask right now that you put us all on like minds, the mind that is in you, Christ Jesus, that as we go about to do the day's business and to continue to make sure that this city is functioning essentially, properly, and well, I ask that you continue to bless the residents as they come forth to hear what we are doing in the city of Milledgeville. Thank you, Lord God, from the federal to the state to the local. Bless us all. Give us all a mind to do your work and to do your will, that everything in this world will begin to run efficiently. It is these and many more blessings I ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Do you have anybody for public comment?
No public comments.
Public comment? Wow, okay. That's a newbie. All right, so we don't have any public comments tonight. Thank you all for coming and being present to represent and to hear what's going on in the city of Milledgeville. So I'm going to move on to my presentations. I have two presentations tonight, and I'm going to move from back here to the front of the dais at the podium. So if you will, give me an opportunity to move forward. Is Mr. Tillman here? So my first order of business, is this on, can you all hear me from this mic? I know last week they said they couldn't hear me. Can you hear me well? Thank you. So the first order of business with the proclamations is a proclamation from the office of the mayor of the city of Milledgeville. And I would like to ask Mr. Jeremy J.D. Hill to come forth, please. So, I'm going to read this proclamation out loud. He has such a long bio and has done so much in the city of Milledgeville and surrounding communities that I just couldn't tell it all. I mean, if I had 10,000 tongues, I still wouldn't be able to give him the acclamates that he deserves. So we have a portion for you tonight, Jeremy, but we want to make sure we give you this proclamation. And it reads, whereas born and raised in Milledgeville, Georgia, Jeremy J.D. Hill is a visionary entertainment businessman whose journey began with a leap of faith and whose path continues to inspire. A proud U.S. Army veteran, thank you for your service. With 20 years of service, J.D. honed the discipline, the strategic thinking, and organizational acumen that now fuels his thriving career in live event productions. Whereas the founder and owner of JD Entertainment Inc. and co-owner of Royal Entertainment, JD has been at the forefront of curating unforgettable live music experiences for 15 years. His very first show with Frankie Beverly and Mays in Macon, Georgia on March 31st, 2012, followed by one with Pastor Shirley Caesar with special guest Dottie Peoples on May 6, 2012. Set the tone for what would become a legacy of excellence in concert promotion. Since then, he has produced hundreds of shows, including acclaimed multi-city U.S. tours, Atlanta Metro-based concerts, signature concert series, and international festivals. Whereas an advocate of excellence in every detail, JD surrounds himself with like-minded professionals and nurtures strong, authentic relationships with artists, agents, business partners, and his team. His ability to foster these lasting connections is reflected in the hundreds of artists who continue to collaborate with him year after year. Whereas his widespread success and sold-out shows across the country, JD remains grounded and humble. He attributes his longevity in the business to his passion for music, sharp business canonness, and a deep-root respect for both the artists, others in the entertainment industry, and the fans. JD's secret sauce is a mix of discipline, approach, financial precision, and market savvy with strong artist pairing skills. Whereas, outside of his business venture, JD is a resolute philanthropist, actively supporting initiatives related to education, youth development, veterans, and community uplifting. JD's work has earned accolades across from the prominent outlets such as Rolling Stones magazines, Essence magazine, Get Up Mornings with Erica Campbell, Rolling Out magazines, Fox 5 Atlanta, Aspire TV, Atlanta Journal-Constitution, Heart and Soul Radio, Upscale magazine, and many more. That is some kind of accomplishment. Wow. Now, therefore, I, Mary Palm Copeland, as the mayor of the city of Milledgeville, do hereby proclaim August 4th, 2025 as Jeremy J.D. Hill Day in the city of Milledgeville, and I encourage all citizens to join in honoring a young man whose quiet strength, determined heart, and enduring service are shaping a legacy that will live far beyond this day. We are so proud of you, Mr. Hill, and we thank you. Been knowing your family a long time, just really getting to know you. But thank you for what you do in the city of Milledgeville. Jeremy have a few words to say.
Thank you guys for coming out. I wasn't gonna do this. First of all, let me thank, hell, I don't know what your title was, man. Former county commissioner, Bill County. But he wanted me to do this. And he really felt like I deserved it. I didn't think so. But after I talked to my mom, I said, you know what, let me do this. Because I think it's super important for our community to realize that we can thrive in business just as much as we can sports and entertainment. So I thought it was important to at least come out for this. Thank you, Mayor, for this prestigious honor. I really appreciate it. To my family, all of my family that's here, thank you all for the support that you've all given me over the years. It means everything. Oh man, it means everything, and I really appreciate it. I thank everybody for being here. Some of you all I haven't saw in years. But I appreciate the support. I know you guys don't know how much this really means to me. Shedrick and I received proclamations in Fulton County as well as Cobb County in the past. And I'll be honest with you, it didn't mean much to me. I'm a behind the scenes type of guy. That's how I've always operated. It really didn't mean much to me at all. My mama tell you, she didn't even get the invite from me. But this right here in my hometown, it means everything. It really does. What I'm proud of the most, Shedrick and I talked on Saturday. First of all, let me say, I appreciate it. There's some people in here, thank you, Dirt, for being here. A lot of people in here that drove all the way from Atlanta too. I thank you guys for being here. I really do. It means a lot. But I thought about what I wanted to say, Mayor, and I apologize for prolonging the meeting. But I thought about what I wanted to say today. And the thing that I'm most proud of, with everything you read, that was all good. But the thing I'm most proud of is the millions of dollars that my partner and I put back into the African American community every single year. I would not be up here if it were not for my partner. So Shedrick, come on up here, man. Come here. I want everybody to see who you are. I want everybody to see who you are. God placed that man in my life, and some people just change your life. And the minute he stepped foot in my life just blossomed. Everybody that this man touches, they are changed. They're changed. Frank, where you at, Frank? Well, Frank, yeah, the man right there. He doing all right for himself. Production company that we use. Where Gwen at? Where's Gwen? Gwen, ground transportation company that we use. Who else? Brian Ward, my best friend from high school. This man has started a multi-million-dollar company off of the concert business that we done. Those are the things that I'm most proud of. Accolades and all that has never been my thing. I am humbled and I really do appreciate it. And I want to say again, thank all of you for being here. Thank you so much. One last comment, man, I'm sorry. I want everybody to join us over at Legend Seafood. They're not open today, but they decided to open up specifically for us in the group. So let's go and support some more minority business. Thank you.
I think Mr. Tillman. Okay. And who's that standing behind Mr. Tillman back there? Good to see you, Mr. Stacy. We have another homegrown artist in the house tonight, and we're thankful for that. And they're coming. They're coming. Mr. Bryan, you all are coming. Thank you for what you do in our community. So the next proclamation from the Office of the Mayor is for the National Recovery Month. So do I have anybody here to represent? Okay, good deal. Now you're welcome to bring everybody up front. He said he had too many families, so he was going to bring. Okay, you the one? Yep, sure did. So when we take the photo. I am. Let me read it out first, okay? All right, so this one it's to the National Recovery Month. And let me say something in reference to this because I serve on the accountability courts. And it is amazing to see before and after. If you've never been to any of their graduations, you need to go. This is one super program. It changes lives. It changes people. And I've seen in my 8 years some very, very productive people. And I'm telling you, the last meeting that I went to, I was floored at the last graduation. So thank you all for what you do. It states, whereas behavioral health is an essential part of one's overall health and well-being, and whereas recovery from addiction occurs every day through a variety of recovery support services and treatment programs, and whereas prevention of substance use disorder works, treatments is effective, and people recover across Georgia and around the nation. And whereas millions of people across the United States are living happy, joyous, and free in long-term recovery. Whereas the 2025 Georgia Recovery Bus Tour celebrates Georgia recovery in communities and recognizes we are never alone on this journey through recovery. And whereas the 2025 Georgia Recovery Bus Tour will make 75 stops in communities across Georgia. And Friday, you all will be here, right? This Friday, we'll be at the Magnolia Ballroom. Whereas education throughout our community about recovery and addiction is essential to combating the stigma and discrimination faced by many people in recovery. And whereas to help more people experience and sustain long-term recovery, the Georgia Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Disabilities, the Georgia Council for Recovery, and the Georgia General Assembly Working Group on Addiction and Recovery invite all residents of the state of Georgia to participate in the National Recovery Week. Now, therefore, I, Mary Parham Copeland, the mayor of the city of Milledgeville, do hereby proclaim the month of September 2025 National Recovery Month in Georgia and call upon all the people of Georgia to observe these months with appropriate programs, activities, and ceremonies to support this year's Recovery Month theme, Georgia Recovers in Communities. And it's signed by me this day, the 29th day of September. Please take part.
They got that. That's the ball game. Let's say that's a wrap.
Jordan, I reckon we can hold a candle to legends.
Yeah.
Everybody going at legend, I guess.
Yeah. If he hadn't said legends,
Mr. Stacy,
Nah, they all
come on up, Patty.
hey, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing? I'm Hank Griffin.
I guess we'll meet y'all at Legends then, okay? Y'all save us something.
You too.
Oh, that's all of them.
Hey, man.
10 to 12 elevator
You
trip.
got that right.
Doing great. How are you?
What's up? How you doing, neighbor?
How are you, sir, Mr. Hill?
This is too funny.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Tillman. Kind of calm on down out there for me, please.
Hey, hey.
Mr. Adams. Mr. Adams. I can't hear.
Courtney.
Tell him. Okay. No. Thank you. Keep the door closed. No, I was trying to close the door, get the door closed. Yes. Thank you.
We can't close it. Scott,
Can't close the door.
door's got to be open.
Trying to get
Door's
that
gotta be
doors
open.
down.
Yep.
Just to ask them would they quiet down a little bit so we can move on with the meeting.
Get them, Emily.
They're gonna be in that hallway for a minute.
Waiting on the elevator. You can't close the door, Emily.
We don't close the door.
Emily,
You can't.
Emily,
You can't close the door.
We have to have open.
You can leave that one open.
Leave that one open. The other one. That one's
You can leave that
okay.
one.
Thank you, Ms. Davis, Commissioner Davis.
And then we got the police
All right,
officer.
moving right along. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me out there? Well, okay, thank you. All right, so next we have the adoption of minutes. All right, you all have received a copy of the August 26, 2025 council meeting minutes. Are there any corrections that need to be made? Hearing none, the chair will entertain a motion to adopt the minutes.
So move. Second.
It's been properly motion and second. The motion carries and the minutes are adopted.
You gotta call for the vote.
I'm sorry. Let me go back a step. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll before the minutes are adopted.
Ms. Shinholster,
Aye.
Dr. Lee,
Aye.
Mr. Reynolds,
Aye.
Mr. Chambers,
Aye.
Ms. Mapp. Aye.
All right, the motion carries and the minutes are adopted. At this time, I really don't have any comments tonight that I need to bring to the forefront. So we're gonna move along to the city manager, and I'm gonna ask the city manager to go ahead with his report.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have too many. Just want to
mention a couple of things to you. First of all, as you all know from your packet and from the information I sent you in my report, tonight is the first read of ordinance O-2509-13. In my biweekly report to you all prior to the second meeting in August, I shared with you a list of bullets that were being considered for creation of an ordinance to provide for microbreweries and brew pubs and wine shops in the Central Business District. I shared with you that night that Mr. Jordan and I would be working on that to finalize that into an ordinance, and so he and Miss Allen did exactly that and crafted the ordinance that you have in front of you tonight. Since this is an ordinance, this is the first read, and it will come back for a second read and hopefully approval from you all at our September 23rd meeting. I just want to go over a couple of things because this, I think I actually said 2 weeks ago, this is much like when the Flournoy guys came to us with their hotel project, that this is kind of new ground for us in the city of Milledgeville. So I just want to mention a couple of things for you to take a look at. That's a little bit different from our some of the other things in our alcohol ordinance. Chapter 6 is the city's code of ordinances that governs alcoholic beverages, and that's the reason this is an ordinance amending Chapter 6 of the city's code of ordinance. And just to reiterate the fact that it is doing two things. It is providing an article which would create microbreweries and brew pubs, and then it's providing a new article that creates wine shops in the Central Business District. The ordinance is pretty straightforward. This really came about because we had a developer request the ability to be able to open these types of businesses in the Central Business District, and that's the biggest reason that it's being brought before you tonight. The definitions on page 1 and the beginning of page 2 are pretty straightforward. You can see that for all three of them, there is a requirement for the number of days and minimum number of hours per week that they will be open. That was put in there just to prohibit a business of this type from opening just on the weekends. Since we had dealt with the density issue on distilled spirits packaged to go a couple of years ago, thought it would be a good idea to go ahead and put a density piece in this as well. So you'll see on page 2 that there'll only be 3 microbreweries, which includes brew pubs, within the Central Business District at any one point in time. And you'll see when we get to the wine shops that there'll only be 2 allowed in the Central Business District at any time. Hours of sale are in accordance with our current ordinance, which is section 6-185, and these will fall under that same requirement. Notice in part M of page 3, there's no gambling or any type of gaming allowed in these establishments. And thanks to Mr. Jordan, because I had not even thought about it, since we're looking at making some changes in our occupational tax license and zoning pieces for sale of vape products. Mr. Jordan suggested, and that was included in this particular ordinance, that none of these 3 shops could sell anything, retail sell anything in terms of alternative nicotine products, and the definitions are there. One of the biggest pieces that was part of the discussion when this initially started was that some of these businesses would have difficulty meeting the 40% of their revenue generated by food in the Central Business District. So for the microbreweries and for the wine shops, that will not be required. There's no requirement to maintain a commercial kitchen and no requirement for 40% of their revenue to be generated by food. That requirement is in the brew pub, because by the nature of a brew pub, which is a restaurant that is also a microbrewery, they're going to be selling food, and they should not have any problem meeting that 40% food requirements. Everything else is pretty straightforward throughout the rest of the ordinance in terms of those areas that I covered with microbreweries. They also relate to brew pubs and the wine shop in the Central Business District. So I would encourage you to read over these. If you have questions, let me know, and we'll get those questions answered. If there are changes that you feel like need to be made, we will make those changes. I do want to mention one change to you in the copy that you have. At the beginning, it's actually at the bottom of page 3 on your copy, where it is a section A that says in compliance with OCGA 35-3-36. There should actually be a heading there for section 6-273, which is provisions applicable to brew pubs only. We will make sure that that's included in the final copy that you get before you vote on it in 2 weeks. But I will entertain any questions that anybody has at this point in time. And as I said, I'll entertain questions over the next 2 weeks prior to it coming back for its second read. All right, if there are none, let me just mention the 2 resolutions that are on the agenda. Both of them deal with the election. Now that qualifying is ended, we've got to look towards actually holding the election. Resolution 2509-34 approves the intergovernmental agreement for the provision of the election services between Baldwin County and the city of Milledgeville. This is not unlike what we have done in the past. It's just in the past we had our probate judge Todd Blackwell as a part of that with the creation of the Board of Elections. He stepped out of the voting world for the county, and we are contracting with the county, and Mr. Eric Unol of the Board of Elections will actually be the one responsible for taking care of the voting machines for the city election. There is an election for State Public Service Commission. I think there's actually 2 involved in that election. So that will be a state election along with a municipal election. And you can see because of that, we've agreed to split the cost 50-50 on that election. Of course, if there are any runoffs in the municipal election, then we will fund 100% of those. Resolution 2509-35 is a resolution to appoint Courtney Chavers, our city clerk, as the Milledgeville election superintendent. There's some very specific wording in the state statute on how that's done and where and when it needs to be done, and that resolution meets the requirements for those state statutes. So, Mayor, that's all I have. If anybody has any questions, I'll be happy to entertain them at this time.
So before we move over to old business, did anybody have any questions? I wanted to ask, where are we, Mr. Griffith, with the deed for the parking space here?
For
The parking lot with Mr.
Mayor and council passed a contract where certain requirements had to be met prior to that quitclaim deed being approved and issued. And that was a contract that was drafted by their legal counsel. It's been passed, and when the requirements of that contract are met, then the quitclaim deed will be brought back before y'all for approval.
Do you know a time and date? Because I'm getting from Mr. I don't think that's his name, DuPont, that its time is of the essence, and he might lose out on $525,000 if we can't get this done speedily. So, do we have a time frame? Will we be able to meet that soon?
I do not have a time frame. I would have to go back and pull that contract to determine what the requirements are, but the contract is based on the developer. meeting the requirements of that contract before the quitclaim deed is issued.
Okay, so what you're saying to me is that the requirements have not been met?
That is correct.
Can I take a point of privilege right here to ask a question of, Mr.
Sure.
Jordan, I guess I'm asking you. Mr. Couch, can you come to the podium for me, please? So, as you've heard, the city has done everything on their part. Your legal team did apply, but where are you all? Have y'all met the necessities that they're asking so that he won't lose this amount of money?
I think this needs to be a further discussion perhaps with Mr. Griffin and us, and we'll be glad to do that. I think the question is the tax credits, store tax credits, expire at the end of December. As I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, permitting or the plan review can't start until we reconcile the parking. What I think I said in the email was, can we go ahead with plan review, issue permits, and begin construction at risk? We understand 111 North Wayne Street will be at risk for the cost of it. It's gonna take a little time to get everything satisfied with the parking. We've got two alternatives that are in that email, but I think we need to get on track so we can go ahead and begin construction. Is that not a fair statement? And I think that really, and be glad to have a discussion with city manager, whomever you want, but I think we need to get on schedule now as far as getting started on, getting plans reviewed, getting permits issued, understanding the city can withhold the CO until we meet all requirements. That's the real issue, not so much the deed, but getting the construction started. And as we will have all plans submitted, close business tomorrow, is that not correct? And I know the city's process and procedure is we have to have reconciled the parking. We presented two alternatives in the email, and I don't know who you shared that with. But we need to get going, and Exchange Bank and 111 North Wayne Street is willing to proceed, understanding you will not give the CO. But the end of December is critical in those tax credit days. And we're now whatever it is, September the 9th. But that's the real issue. The rest of it we'll work through, and we're not asking so much, just work with us on it is what it comes down to. We'll work any way the city wants to, but we need to get started on construction. Exchange Bank is funded. We have a construction loan in place. We need to go. We need to get going. So that's the real question. I'll be glad to address that, but I think we're glad to meet with the city manager, P&Z. Had a great meeting with P&Z with the initial plans, and we've talked about this now for over a year, and we'll do whatever needs to be done. If he wants to take it to the city manager, more than happy to do that. Not asking for a favor, asking for some grace and some help with this so we can get these tax credits. We don't want to lose. Depot can't afford it on a project that's about $3 million. $525,000 will be devastating to the project. Yeah, we're looking at alternatives with Department of Revenue right now. We're working on that, but again, just work through it. We'll work through it however you want to. And your rule control mechanism is certificate of occupancy. You can hold that over our heads till we satisfy all requirements of the city. And I think that's where we are. And we have all the plans in tomorrow. We need to get those things reviewed, and we need to start putting up walls as soon as possible. We have to certify to the state Department of Revenue and DCA, we have completed the project, not occupied it, but we're gonna have construction done by the end of the year. If I'm saying something incorrect, tell me, but that's where we need help.
So, Mr. Griffin, can you meet with the,
I would ask for a ruling from legal counsel on that before I
Okay.
meet with him, please.
I'll have to look at it. We entered into a contract and it was presented to us at that time. If something has changed, then somebody needs to come forward, bring it to the city manager. I'm happy to meet, and then we can go from there. We're not going to be able to modify the zoning requirements of the code relative to the parking and so forth, unless you, as a council, decide you're going to amend the code to do so. But I think where it starts, because this is the first I've heard of this, because we had an agreement, had a contract in place, council approved it, we were told that's what was needed, and so I think probably starting with the city manager, meeting with him, and then see what we can do from there.
More than happy to do that.
Yeah, that's a good
We're
idea.
more than happy to do that. We'll bring if Mr. Jordan needs to be involved, we can bring Mr. Rossing in. He's aware, but we need to get going. We cannot afford to take a loss on Mr. It's not us. It's Kumar family.
And it may help with Mr. Rossing, because he's the one that presented the contract
Oh, I
and
understand.
told us what the situation was going to be. So that may help.
Okay.
And we submitted two parking alternatives. One of them involves Carnes family, and I think you've seen that. I believe you've seen it. And then there's another, but again, it's gonna take some, we can't go anywhere till we get plan reviews and permit issues is what it comes down
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm gonna ask, since, Mr. Jordan, you said it would be okay for him to get with Mr. Griffith, and then you all get together on it and then bring it back to council, if
Absolutely.
y'all can work it
to.
that
And we
way.
get some flexibility from the state on the tax revenues, everybody would breathe easier. We don't know that today. We're working on that as well.
Okay, so get with Mr. Griffith,
More than happy to.
and then you all make a scheduled time and talk,
Sure.
and go from there.
Sure.
All right, thank you.
Thank you all. Appreciate it. That it, Mayor?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. All right. We do not have any old business for tonight, so we will now consider the new business, which is part of the agenda, and I will ask the clerk to read O-2509-13 by caption as a first read. Madam Clerk, please read.
Ordinance O-2509-13, an ordinance amending Chapter 6 of the City of Milledgeville Code of Ordinances to provide for a new Article 5 entitled Microbreweries and Brew Pubs, and to provide for a new Article 6 entitled Wine Shops in the Central Business District and for other purposes.
All right, this is the first reading, so it will come to us at the next council meeting. So everyone will have an opportunity to review the draft ordinance and be ready for any necessary discussion and action on September the 23rd council meeting. I will now ask the clerk to please read Resolution 2509-34 by caption. Madam,
Resolution R-2509-34 to authorize an intergovernmental agreement for the provision of election services between Baldwin County, Georgia, and the City of Milledgeville, Georgia.
all right, you have heard the resolution. Is there a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly motioned and second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Ms. Shinholster,
Aye.
Dr. Lee,
Aye.
Mr. Reynolds,
Aye.
Mr. Chambers,
Aye.
Ms. Mapp.
Aye.
Okay. All right, so the motion is approved. I will ask the clerk to read Resolution 2509 dash. I'm kind of out of order here. Do we have 30?
35.
35.
No, we need to see the reading.
Yeah,
35.
All right, so we'll ask 35 by caption. Madam Clerk, please read Resolution R-2509-35 by caption.
Resolution R-2509-35 to select Courtney Shavers as the City of Milledgeville Election Superintendent.
You have heard the resolution. Is there a motion to discuss? Is there a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Ms. Shinholster,
Aye.
Dr. Lee,
Most definitely.
Mr. Reynolds,
Aye.
Mr. Chambers,
Aye.
Ms. Mapp. Aye.
All right, you- The motion is adopted. All right, so, there's a need to go to closed session tonight.
That's
Correct.
correct.
For a personnel matter. I need a motion and a second, please.
Madam Mayor, I make a motion that we move into executive session to discuss a personnel matter.
Second.
Okay, motion and second. Clerk call the roll.
Ms. Shinholster,
Aye.
Dr. Lee,
Aye.
Mr. Reynolds,
Aye.
Mr. Chambers,
Aye.
Ms. Mapp. Aye.
All right, at this time, we'll be going into closed session, and when we convene from that, we'll be back to close out the meeting. Out of executive session, I'll ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Ms. Shinholster,
Here.
Dr. Lee,
Here.
Mr. Reynolds,
Here.
Mr. Chambers,
Here.
Ms. Mapp. Here.
All right. This concludes the items on the agenda. Does anyone on council have a question or comment?
I do, Mayor. I had a meeting, long meeting this afternoon with with GMA's Children's Youth Coordinating Council, and a couple of things that came out of it. One is a reminder to everybody that September 22nd, 2025 is Georgia Reads Day, and I hope the mayor has some type of outline that she's supposed to be doing in her reading for literacy program. But that particular day, we will be looking for volunteers to go throughout the school system, to each and every school, several people to several classes, to read to the children that day, to help read and participate in that. One of the other things that they talked about is the Georgia Reads program is donating $20,000 to a community that can show what type of plan they have for literacy in their community. The applications are out there on the website. The other thing that we talked about was the Youth Council Symposium that will meet next week in Savannah. The registration closes on September 15th, and they are encouraging all cities who have not begun their youth council process to get involved in that. They just named some cities that have policies and outlines that you can go by: City of Jonesboro, Stockbridge, Dublin, and Douglas. They said were really good cities that you could go on their website and get their policies, their plans, and their proposal, because they talked about different things issues that they deal with. And we need to come up with some ideas that once we get started on it to keep it going and keep the young people interested. Another thing that we talked about today was the Young Game Changers, and I'm going to have that conversation with Carly, with the chamber, for people aged 25 to 40. And they suggested that the councils across the state get involved with that program, because it will help you to create people in different age groups that will be willing to possibly run for city elections and get involved with the city, and to come to us. Feel free to come to us to present ideas without being angry, so that we can be proactive about some of the things and some of the complaints that people talk about. But it's also a great way to help them to understand how cities are governed, and that way they won't feel like they're completely left out and we're not thinking about them, once they understand how we govern and what we have laws and things that we have to go by, and understand boundaries within city and county governments. Then perhaps it will make them better citizens. So that's something I would really like for us to get involved with as well. And the last thing that we talked about was mental health, and I was glad to see the proclamation that was done tonight about mental health, because they're all about raising awareness in the communities, especially about how much law enforcement has to deal with people with mental health issues. And the lady from DBHDD talked about the fact that they are still looking to open different places within the state of Georgia that you can go in and get a mental health assessment and get some help in your community. So hopefully, we will be able to get one soon enough. We got a perfect place for one. And she mentioned that when she saw, because I had my video off and microphone off, and then when we had to do our introductions, when she found out I was from Milledgeville, she made sure that she called that out several times in her report, that we certainly need somewhere in Milledgeville. So I was in the chat box telling her, thank you. We really needed to hear that because we do need that. So I think that's all that we talked about today. It was a very good meeting, very long meeting, but a good meeting.
Great, great. And you all have your regional commission meeting on Thursday, correct?
Right.
Have we had a report?
Where is the next place Young Game Changers is going, Miss Shinoza, did they say? They're in Athens now.
They're in Athens now, and they were trying to get a volunteer city on the thing today. So they said that they would send us an email to let us know, but they're just finishing up in Athens, and they want a new city to come to next time. So hopefully we can get it.
Did you tell them Milledgeville?
No, I didn't suggest Milledgeville. I didn't volunteer anything, because then I'd have to do it. So.
You remember that one, didn't you?
So sometimes you have to be careful what you volunteer for. So,
So I think Miss Ma'am, we do have some youth coming.
No, we do not. We have applications that have been submitted to Georgia College, early college, but we have not received those applications back yet.
You did get the letterhead to attach with them.
Yeah, I mean, everything's been sent out. We're just waiting for the individuals to.
and on that, we did have some extensive conversation about that today, because most what they said that they found that most cities were trying to get the brightest and the best students. And within their systems, most school systems would always submit that, and those students have so much to do that they're having problems. They're in sports, they're cheerleaders, they're on dance teams, they're this, they're that, and they were having problems getting people to come to meetings. So the organizer, the one that's over the entire state with the youth council, stated, we want your children that have a 2.0 GPA, some or below. People that don't feel like they're worth, because once they get involved in something, then they learn, they become leaders because they find out they are valued in their communities, and it is someone and then they get to know, rather than what they hear in their neighborhoods, they get to spend some time with law enforcement, they get to spend some time with elected officials, and then they get to talk at our council meetings, and they have information to bring back to their communities, which makes a more positive atmosphere than just trying to get all the top students to continue to do what we know they're already doing. So I hope that you all think about that as you put your council together. We want the everyday people that and teach them how to become hard workers as well.
Okay. I did order some books. They should have came here for the literacy thing. I think several cities ordered them. They were maybe like 37 cents or something like that, but it's dealing with government. So I ordered those, and I'm paying for them. I think I ordered enough came to like $75, but I did order enough to have.
Are they here?
I don't know if they're here or not. Yeah, I got to check and see. They should be, because I know they had sent an email saying you can pick some books up at certain places. But that's why I handed Mr. Griffin my phone, trying to get my email up working, because the National League of Cities sent something, but then they called me today and I told them my email wasn't working, and they sent it through my personal email, so I hadn't had a chance to check it yet. Okay. So hopefully Mr. Griffin will be able to get that email up and running.
That delivery would have come to you, wouldn't it, Jackie? Don't most deliveries
Have
come
you seen
to you?
anything?
I've not been at work, but
Okay.
That's right, you've been in training.
So it would be from the Georgia Municipal Association. It's just a box of books.
okay.
Okay. That's all I have. Anybody else have any other questions, concerns, comments? You-
Oh, that's October. Never mind. When is the annual meeting?
Ms. Mapp, there's a CLCP meeting, speaking of reading, coming up the next 2 weeks, is that right?
Yes, 23rd. Let me double check.
Ms. Griffin, did you get back with the school about the 16th that morning? Oh,
I did, yes, ma'am.
so
I didn't get back with them. I was the one that helped set the date for that meeting.
okay. So is everybody on council in agreement?
No, this is just a planning meeting for the big meeting later on in the month.
Okay. Okay. Because I know she had kept sending it to me, and I said I would get with you on it because I wasn't sure.
I've responded to her and helped set the meeting for the 16th from the get-go, so.
So you don't need everybody there at the 16th.
No, the big meeting is on the 25th.
I think it is.
Where and what time?
The school system has not sent that out yet.
Not yet. She's still working on it.
Yeah. I suspect it probably will be 5:30 at Central Georgia Tech, but that's just based on where we met last time.
Okay.
The CCLP meeting is scheduled for the 24th at Central Georgia Technical College at 10 o'clock.
Is that the same meeting we met last time? Was that? Okay.
Also, too, the Middle Georgia Regional Commission is having their annual meeting on the 30th of September at their location there on Eisenhower Parkway. And if you would like to attend, then please get Celeste to register you for that. They need a head count in order to get the dinner prepared. But
Is that our meeting?
no, the regular meeting is on September the 11th. This is their annual annual event, and they like for cities and counties to be represented. Some of them bring all their entire elected board, but
And if it was like last time, the food was real good.
no, I'm telling you, the food is always good. Get a delicious meal. You can come.
Where's the list? Need to go on to register me.
Yeah, you should let her know if you're gonna go.
What? I mean, just tell her.
She has
Okay.
the information already.
Okay. Anybody else? All right. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Second.
3-4. All right, I'll ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Ms. Shinholster,
Aye.
Dr. Lee, Mr. Reynolds,
Aye.
Mr. Chambers,
Aye.
Ms. Mount.
Aye.
All right, meeting stands.